Now if you've been playing Wuchang Fallen Feathers, no doubt by now you've uncovered a whole bunch of goodies, and you'll know that there's quite a few weapons out there that you can, but I must admit, among my personal favourites, this one has to be up there, probably in the first or second slot, as one of the best overall weapons in the game. The fact that you can get this so early is absolutely ridiculous, and this axe right here, the Empyrean Greataxe, is one of the most powerful but also one of the most versatile weapons in the game. Obviously, if you're looking at the footage in the background, you can see that this thing is an absolute powerhouse, and the main thing that I love about it is that its special move allows you to kind of get out of the way of a whole bunch of danger very often if you play your cards right. As well as that though, it's great for initiating combat, hunting down enemies, and just absolutely devastating some of the biggest and baddest foes in the game. Considering how early you get this weapon, I would say this is borderline broken, and when you start to really invest your skill point into the Greataxe tree, you can really do some damage with this and have a lot of fun with the gameplay. Now like I said, this can be picked up very early game, so it's well worth looking out for, but if you don't know how to find it and get hold of it, it can be a bit of a nightmare. So I'm going to be going over how to pick this up a little bit later on after showing you exactly what it's all about. Main thing, like I said, the skill on this is the main reason you'll probably be using it. It does actually have quite a nice bit of extra damage on its blunt damage type compared to your previous first axe if you're still using that. But the skill on this, Empyrean Crash, has to be one of the most fun skills in the game, but also a complete game changer if you start to use it well. This will allow you to evade a whole bunch of enemy attacks, even bosses, very often, but at the same time, like I said earlier, it's great for initiating combat, getting in on your foes when they're not prepared for you, and just dishing out a whole bunch of damage when they're kind of least expecting it. I try and make sure I can have as much uses of this as possible, so you will want to make sure you're doing your combos in order to generate a whole bunch of Skyball might, and when you start tackling the biggest enemies, kind of go toe to toe with them, and then whenever you need to avoid danger, save this for that moment, get out of the way of things, and then a lot of times you'll also be able to get behind them. Remember, with your Greataxes, heavy attacks your friend as well. This is going to do a really nice AoE swing that can take out a lot of enemies and dish out quite a bit of damage to a single target as well. And if you're lucky, it might do a kind of stagger where you can do an obliterate from behind, upon them dishing out a whole bunch of extra damage. Overall though, this is probably in my top spot as my favourite Greataxe in the game, and you can pick this up ridiculously early, so you don't want to miss it and then move on to other areas. Now one thing I would say, as with a lot of the weapons in this game, tempering it is definitely the way forward, as that's really going to help you out of your damage, and I really enjoyed using it with fire, so that is definitely one great way to go, because a lot of bosses early stages seem to be quite weak to that, and it tackles them very well. However, as well as that, don't forget the Leech Needle. That can really help you to kind of go toe to toe with some of the bosses and regain a bit of health, because the weapon itself is a little bit slower than some of the ones you might be used to, especially if you're used to playing with things like the longsword. For your skill tree, if you are going to be investing into the axes, one of the main things you want to do is make sure you head just straight up on this path just here and make sure you pick up a whole bunch of extra damage. Main thing you're after is going to be strength, any way you can enhance your damage, and of course if you've got a whole bunch of red feathers, don't forget to actually upgrade your weapon as well. Because this was early on when I was using it, I have not got many points spec'd into it at all, and honestly I was absolutely obliterating all of the first early game bosses without even really trying too much. And of course alongside that, don't forget you want to go to the left hand path, pick up a bunch of health, because health is definitely going to be key with this because it's slightly slower, as well as a few upgrades to your potions, just in case you do get a little bit of trouble. Now, that's all well and good, and you might be thinking, I really like this weapon, but how exactly do I get hold of it? Well, from the Shoe Sanctum, we're going to bop straight down the kind of main path, keep making our way all the way forward, until we get just right to the end here, where we're going to turn right and walk across the invisible bridge. From there you're going to want to make your way straight down this path and just keep running all the way forward. Now of course there will be a whole bunch of enemies here, so if you want to take them out you can, or if you're just trying to collect this item, there's not much you're going to miss at this starting area, except for I think some blades back on the floor when an enemy jumps out. But other than that you can pretty much avoid most of these things. Then keep making your way up and round so eventually you'll get to this area where you want to run straight through. When you do go through, watch out for the boulder at the end, because that is not going to give you a good time if you do get caught out with that. And this guy likes to fire a whole bunch of shots at you. That 99% of the time I would have avoided, except for the fact that I was making this video. Then you're going to jump onto the ladder, climb all the way up to the top, and take out the enemies at the top of the roof here. These ones aren't too difficult, so you can quite easily take them down. And the same again, take out this guy before moving on to the very edge of the rooftops. Now unfortunately I already took out the enemy here, but just down the bottom there's going to be a kind of sorcerer or fire mage that you're definitely going to want to take out, as he's going to give you a nice spell. But the actual item we're after, the Empyrean Axe, is right on the rooftop across from us. In order to get hold of this, you're going to want to drop down on the ladder. And if you still need it, don't forget to open this shortcut here, because that will make things quicker next time. Once that's done though, just make your way through this area, and you're just going to be kind of making your way up the path. Keep making your way through until you get all the way over to the very end. When you have a chance to turn right, you're going to want to turn here and make your way over to one of the houses. House you're after is going to be quite prominent because there's always a guy that jumps out at you, so make sure you take him out. And in that house just on the left is going to be the one you're after. You're going to want to go upstairs and then be on the lookout for a ladder. Once you get to this floor, you're going to want to climb the ladder. And then on the rooftop just here, there's going to be one of those red glowing eyed enemies, so these guys have got a bit of extra damage about them as well as a bit of extra health. So you might want to back off a little bit, fight him on the kind of main bit of the rooftop so he doesn't take you down or knock you off the rooftop accidentally. Once he's defeated, you'll get yourself a nice bit of red mercury, and then just make your way over to the edge of the rooftop where you'll be able to pick up the Empyrean Axe you're after. Like I said, after checking out the stats between this and the one I had before, it is much enhanced, nice bit of extra blunt damage, but the main thing you're going to be after is going to be that skill move, which is just absolutely devastating, but as well as that, a lot of fun to use in all situations. Personally, this is my favourite axe in the game, and being able to pick up this early on allows you to make some crazy builds. But if there's any weapons that you've really enjoyed using, then I'd love to hear from you, so chuck it in the comments. There's going to be loads more content away from me, hints, tips, guides and builds, as I'm really enjoying the game. But as always, for all things gaming, take care. I'll see you on the next day.